Okay, this is Dave Get Dollars. Dave Gets Dollars, continuing what I was talking about. The real problems in my market. I talked about how the traffic is a problem. I talked about how like a lot of these lobbies are closed. That's a problem. And I believe a lot of them don't have to be closed. They just are by choice. Taking advantage of this whole situation and what's going on in the world. And when I mentioned traffic, I talked about all the car accidents just due to crime. People intentionally running red lights. Teenagers stealing cars and crashing. High-speed chases, what have you. I talked about how some of the customers in the more urban areas don't tip as well. And even in the suburbs, like the suburbs here, every place that you do this in, you're going to have some people in the suburbs that tip very well. But our suburbs are not quite like when I was in Texas, like Lake Arlington suburbs or like Arlington suburbs, where it's very normal to get a $19 tip and $20 tip and $10 tip. You get those here. Don't get me wrong, we get some of those here. But I'm sure there are other places that they get them more. So that is a problem. Now, continuing on with some of the problems. Long lines. Again, for the amount of people that live here, traffic and long lines don't flow like they should. They just don't. And then this brings me to my other one, overall attitude of customers. Again, we have some good ones, but in Milwaukee, we have some bad ones. That's why, like, I'm headed right now. Like, the hotspots I like being in are outside of Milwaukee, because you get better quality customers. They're happier, they're more appreciative, and they're more generous. I'm in this for me first. I believe in customer service, but I'm in this for me first. And you should be in this for you first. You shouldn't just I gotta take this order. It's going to the worst area where they outside shooting dice and they shooting their guns in the air. No. Sometimes you have to understand, because this is about you first. This is about your safety first. This is why I have a problem with people that think they know all there is to know about the gig, but they not out here gigging it up. Okay, it's kind of like the YouTuber. You know how you have YouTubers that talk about a town they moved to? It reminds me of, say, one of the YouTubers that talks about Arizona moved out of Arizona and they're still talking about Arizona. Like, you don't even live here no more. We want to hear from people who live here. That's what it reminds me of when guys talk about DoorDash for views and for YouTube monetization purposes, but they don't do deliveries anymore. Like, they don't do Shipt, which that's the shirt I wear. In case I grab one, I want to, be ready. They don't do DoorDash. They don't do GrubHub. They probably did like a year ago, 2 years ago, but now it's like, now they're pretending like they're doing deliveries and they're not. They're just collecting YouTube checks, and some of them might even have jobs. Your average gig worker, a job is despicable to him or her. They like their freedom. They don't want to deal with all the personalities at work. I believe most don't even have a job. They just do this all day. I'm one of them. Like, I had a job. I worked in my field for 13 years. It's just too toxic, and it's too. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I have a corrections background. That's one of the janitorial background I have, the culinary background I have. No problems, no gripes with those. The gripes that I have is with corrections. Cause see, in my mind, if you're gonna play tough guy, then you should be held accountable physically as well as mentally for your playing tough guy. That's just how I think. So it got to the point where we were having meetings on our off days. You were getting mandatory to work overtime on your off day. Um, it's like it was no freedom, and then you're dealing with all these personalities from the individuals and the other coworkers. And as I was doing this part time, I'm thinking like, I'm calculating like, okay, if I do this full time, worst case scenario, I'm gonna make X amount of dollars. Best case scenario, I'm gonna make X amount of dollars. I got to the point where I was trying to wait till the summer was over, but didn't quite make it, y'all. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put my 2 week notice in. And I've been doing this, and some of the other things I do to generate income, I said I want to focus on those things. I've been able to focus on those things, and I've been doing better at those things. Because sometimes a toxic job, you think, oh, I make X amount of dollars. Let me ask you something. Are you getting anywhere? And it's possibly because when you're dealing with toxic people and toxic environment, it don't matter how much you make. It's all gonna be affected. You liable not to even be in the right state of mind to spend your money right. It's all gonna be affected. So that brings me to my next point about this market. There's some angry people in Milwaukee, y'all. You say, well, that's everywhere. Of course it is. Of course it is. But when you're dealing with customers, this is not what you want. Like, you don't want to, every time you go in a customer, hey, how you doing? Right like this. When I say them like that, when I'm done, I go right to my rating. Like, oh, man, I was on time. Nothing was missing. Why did this person give me a bad rating? I'm going to fix them. Zzz, go out to the nice customers like this. Hey, go out to them. Because I'm in this for me. I'm in this for me. Like, this is my world right here. This gig economy, this is my world right here. I'm practically one of the kings of this market. So I've been to so many houses multiple times, can't even count. So each customer, like, you know how people are nowadays. They're so entitled. They think they're the only one that you can get. They think they're the only customer that you can get. You're not the only customer that I can get. And those be the worst customers. Like, they take all day to come outside, which, next point, to hand it to me customers sometimes can be slow. And then they get mad if I put it on your porch and I move on. Again, this is my world. Say it with me. My world. See? You're entering into my world when I come do this DoorDash. I'm entering into your world by putting that order on your porch or what have you, whatever you want. So if you say hand it to the customer, then you should be either, I don't like when people watch me on the map, but if you want me to hand it to you, then the best is when you're at the door. I can give it to you, keep going. When I gotta ring your doorbell and you, like one guy, it was in the suburbs and he was a kid, you know, you can't expect. So I rung the doorbell, I'm like, man, come on, man. I hear him coming down the stairs and I hear, I believe that was the loudest fart. That his sister said something to him, and he farted like so loud. I know he knew I had to hear it, cause he had a smirk on his face. It sound like a bomb or something. But he took all day to come to the door. Like, I mean, that made it a little more humorous. But I'm like, come on, man, what are they doing in there? I could hear him moving around. I was getting ready to put it on the porch and leave. I hear his sister. Like, man, he probably had to go check himself or something after that. Like, I mean, that's sorry. I'm not trying to be sorry, guys. But yeah, that's about as many more, but that's the main things. Traffic. Some of the customers are angry. A lot of these things y'all blame on DoorDash. You don't realize how much this affects your pay. When people take all day to come to the door, all these closed lobbies. Like last week, I think I made a total of not even 600, cause I had like a lot of this going on last week. Roadblocks, car accidents, cars tow all up. Gotta go around. People taking all day to come to the door. Lobbies closed. And sometimes you be like, I don't think I want to give this $12 back. So you get in that line. Then you end up like, oh man. There is no perfect market. That's why cherry picking is so important, because if you know a restaurant is possibly going to be closed, you don't take anything from them unless it's financially suitable to whatever your needs are. So like case in point, McDonald's. There's certain one, like the one over here in that lobby is usually open, or the drive-through is pretty quick. So I'm a little more lenient to this one than to the other one, or the one is one on what we call Mayfair Road, and this one. But some of the other ones in more urban areas, no. They close their lobby, bloop, out of there. But thanks for watching. This is Dave Gets Dollars. Yes, I got some in my wallet. And guess what? They all come from the gig. The money I got in my wallet right now is all gig money. There ain't none the other stuff I do. Ain't none of that money in my wallet right now. This is all gig collections. The gig collection play. Bring your tithe. You can pay your tithe. I'm talking to you customers. Pay your tithe and offerings to the DoorDash profit. The real profit. Ain't no false profit. I'm not sitting on couches, go start up my car, turn the air on, and act like I'm doing deliveries. I'm really doing these deliveries. But thanks for watching.